Hey, this is Zach with musclesandveggies.com, and this is Reversing Diabetes Naturally with pillar number 3, fasting. Okay, so in reversing diabetes naturally, we have a 3-pillar process here at Muscles and Veggies Fitness. Step 1 is obviously your diet and the food you're eating. Step 2 is obviously building muscle. If you haven't seen those 2 videos, look back in the history here on the channel and you'll find those videos there. But this video is focused on pillar number 3, fasting. So let's get right into it here. I am not a medical doctor. Please consult with your doctor before discontinuing any medications or doing any fasting. I am simply here to share with you the latest in research in fasting and give you tips that have worked in my practice for reversing insulin resistance. That all said, let's talk about the F word, fasting. Insulin resistance is a multifactorial process that all stems from one thing, and that is there's too much energy in the cells. Video number 1, we saw how cramming too much energy into the cells by horrible dieting and by the high sugar, high carbohydrate foods that we've been eating that spike your blood sugar through the roof and that cause this insulin response. And this insulin response is what's responsible for cramming energy into the cell. Video 2, we saw how you can become more insulin sensitive by building and using our muscles, okay? So by building and activating our muscles, we get more sensitive to that insulin and we can cram energy into our muscles instead of our cells, okay? Think of insulin like a key. Overuse of this key can sometimes result in the key not working properly. Insulin is much like the same way. If we overuse it, it starts to malfunction, and that's what insulin resistance is. How do we know we have too much energy in our cells? For a leader in fasting and reversing type 2 diabetes, I wanted to play a short clip from Dr. Jason Fung and his talk on reversing type 2 diabetes and insulin resistance and what he says about getting energy out of the cell. So take a look at this.
So when we eat food, the hormone insulin starts to rise. And insulin is a storage hormone. It stores some of this energy in our livers and in our fat cells. So sugar gets stored in the liver as glycogen, and fat gets stored as well. When we stop eating, the insulin levels start to fall. And what happens is that we start to bring this energy back out. So that when we're fasting, usually during sleeping, for instance, we don't have to constantly eat to feed ourselves because we're generating this energy from the fuel that we've stored away. And this is a normal situation. So you eat, energy gets stored. As you don't eat, the energy comes back out. Now, there are 2 main fuel sources for the body. The body can burn sugar, and the body can burn fat. And you have to understand that the body can switch from one to the other without any problems. This is a normal situation. Sugar is like the money in your wallet. It's easily available, but you can only store a certain limited amount. So you can take it in, you can take it out. It's very easy for the tissues to use. Fat, on the other hand, is like the money in your bank. There's an unlimited amount of storage, but it's not so easy to get to. You have to go to the teller. It's not immediately available to you like the money in your wallet. And this really explains partially why it's so hard to burn fat, because it's not that accessible to you. In fact, you can only get at it after you've burned through all the sugar, because your body is not going to bother of getting the energy from the fat when it has plenty of sugar. Let's look at what happens to the body when you start fasting.
So I have really dialed in my fasting using a guide that's called The Complete Guide to Fasting. This is by Dr. Jason Fung and also his co-author, Jimmy Moore. So check them out. This is on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, all your major bookstores. Check them out. Now let's get into the types of fasting and what are the benefits of fasting. So obviously we know we need to get energy out of the cell as a type 2 diabetic or an insulin resistant person. So we know fasting does that. What else does fasting do? We can get increased energy from fasting. We can boost our immune system. We let our digestive system rest, which lets the body put energy into healing a lot of different areas, including your liver, your gut. Also joint pain. I actually use fasting to cure my plantar fasciitis. Look back in the videos. You can find that video as well on my 3-day fast to cure plantar fasciitis. Improve sleep. Some of my best sleep has been when I'm fasting. Heighten mental clarity, focus, memory, a lot of good things that you can get cognitively from fasting. So we have a few different progressions here on how you can implement fasting and start to train your fasting muscle. Okay, this is a muscle. We're going to put some training in and build up slowly. So you're not going to jump into a 3-day fast after never fasted before. So progression number 1 is keto coffee. So what we're going to do is eat dinner, 6 p.m., whatever that is for you, 5, 6, 7, and you're not going to eat again, or you're not going to take in any calories until the next morning when you have either your keto coffee or your keto tea. So what you're going to do is blend either your coffee or your tea with MCT oil, okay? This is going to give you energy, focus, but the main thing is satiety. It's going to satiate you while you continue your fast through the morning. Progression number 2, regular intermittent fasting. So what this basically actually is fasting with just coffee or tea in the morning. Other than that, only water, no MCT oil, no other forms of fats. So again, having dinner at 5 or 6 p.m., drinking water all through the night, waking up in the morning, have your coffee or tea, and then drink water all the way until your first meal, whenever that may be, 10, 11, 12, okay? This is dinner to dinner fasting. So this is where we incorporate a 24-hour fast in. You can do this first with MCT oil, and then you can take the MCT oil out and do just a water fast for 24 hours. So you're going to eat dinner at 6 p.m., drink water, have only your coffee or tea for breakfast, and then drink water all the way till that 24-hour mark or close to it that you ate dinner the night before. Progression number 4 is extended fasting. I highly recommend you do your homework before you do any kind of over 24-hour period fasting. This requires training that fasting muscle to where it gets strong enough that you can easily handle a 24-hour fast and then consider extended fasting. Precautions and tips for fasting. So let's talk about that. Electrolyte balance, hydration balance, and also what hypoglycemia looks like. So when you're fasting, proper hydration is the key to feeling good. When it comes to feeling good and cleansing your body, letting the digestion rest. So as we're drinking all this water in, not only is it giving us a satiated feeling while we're fasting, but also it's cleansing the body of all these toxins. So it's so important. If you experience any headache or fatigue, that usually is from lack of water. The combination of fasting and staying well hydrated has the tendency to flush out the minerals like sodium and magnesium and these electrolytes that we need that also help us feel really good. So if you start feeling lightheaded or shaky, dizzy, those type of things are lack of sodium, lack of magnesium, or lack of potassium. If you start to feel ill at any time during the fast or hypoglycemic, in the fast immediately, period. It's okay to experience hunger, but I also don't recommend forced fasting, which simply means by putting your body under a ton of stress and which your body isn't truly ready for. If water doesn't kill the hunger, then eat. Hypoglycemia can look like impaired cognition, shakiness, weakness, or feeling faint. So here at Muscles and Veggies, we have a health coaching program where we walk people through beating insulin resistance, diabetes, and getting stronger and leaner. So if you're nervous about fasting, I recommend starting very, very slow. Just start pushing breakfast off till 9 or 10 and just see how you feel. Work that fasting muscle slowly. Make sure you're properly hydrated, and those following outlines we talked about before. As always, consult with your medical practitioner before you do any kind of fasting. Make sure that there's no medications or anything that could prevent you from safely carrying out a fast. So check us out at musclesandveggies.com. If you learned something from this video, please hit the like button. If you know somebody who has type 2 diabetes and that could benefit from this, please share it with them and comment below if you have any questions or concerns. Uh, Thank you for watching. This is Zach with musclesandveggies.com.